So Cavan 215, Monaghan 117. The championship is well and truly back in Gaelic football, and oh my word, have we seen a massive shock in the preliminary round of the Ulster Senior Football Championship, as Cavan, who were 7 and maybe even 8 points down at one stage in that second half, and have managed to turn it around and win in extra time with Raymond Gallagher's late free proving to be the difference. What a win it is for Cavan. And as always, lads, I'm here with my thoughts and my reaction to the game in a match that everyone expected Monaghan to win the game, but in the end it was Cavan who caused a massive shock. What's going on, everyone? It's Aaron here from GA Fan TV. Cavan have just beaten Monaghan in the opening round in the preliminary football championship, in the Ulster football championship, that is, in the preliminary round. And what a win that has proved to be for Cavan. An extraordinary turnaround. They were behind in the second half. They looked down and out, but incredibly, they managed to turn it around. And even in extra time, they were 2 points down and managed to turn it around. And what a win for Cavan. You know, they were relegated to Division 3 last weekend. Everyone expected Monaghan to win this game quite comfortably. The first half seemed to prove that. Monaghan were in cruise control, even playing against the breeze in the second half. But in the end, Cavan, with some fantastic individual performances from the likes of Raymond Gallagher, who came on, Oisin Pearson in the first half, and of course Raymond Gallagher, 2 fantastic saves in the first half, and then he kicked a late free to win it in extra time for Cavan. But look, listen, first of all, what we'll do is we'll have a look at the teams that played today. So we'll have a look at the Monaghan team first of all. So in goal was Rory Beggan, and then of course in at the full-back line, Kieran Duffy, Conor Boyle and Ryan Wiley. The half-backs were Desi Ward, Fintan Kelly and Carl O'Connell. In the midfield, Kieran Hughes and Darren Hughes. In the half-forward line, it was Drew Wiley, Michael Brannigan, Ryan McAnespie, Stephen O'Hanlon, Conor McCarthy and Conor McMahon. And then of course the Cavan team, so Raymond Gallagher in goal, the full-back line, Jason McLaughlin, Killian Clark and Killian Brady. The half-backs, Jared Smith, Kieran Brady and Luke Fortune. The midfield was James Smith and Padraig Faulkner, and of course the half-back line was Martin Riley, Geroid McKiernan and Oisin Kiernan. And then of course the full-forward line, Oisin Pearson, Chris Conroy and Cormac O'Reilly. And of course Stephen Smith came in for Chris Conroy as well. And yeah, you know, what an extraordinary turnaround in the end in the second half for Cavan. And look, listen, in the first half for me, you know, Monaghan set up very defensively, which was very surprising. But I think Banty McEnany in the first half got his tactics spot on. It was in the second half where things really went wrong for me, because, you know, in the first half, Monaghan were hitting Cavan on the break and it was causing all sorts of problems. You know, Monaghan could have had 2 or 3 goals in that first half. You know, there was multiple chances in that game for Monaghan. You know, in particular, you know, Gallagher making 2 fantastic saves, you know, one's from McAnespie and the other from Carl O'Connell in that first half. Of course, Conor McManus getting on the score sheet as well. But of course, you know, obviously, you know, it was certainly Cavan who were causing a lot of problems quite early on for Monaghan. They certainly started quite bright. Geroid McKiernan winning a lot of ball for Cavan, causing a lot of problems for that Monaghan side. And, you know, even though Stephen O'Hanlon had an early chance for Monaghan in that first half, Cavan were fantastic. And, you know, Cormac Riley, of course, getting inside his man and of course picking out Oisin Pearson, who slotted it to the right of Rory Beggan, and that gave Cavan the impetus in the first half and it gave them that early lead. Monaghan did take a while to get going, but certainly after the water break they certainly did come more and more into it, and in particularly in the first half, you know, Conor McManus, fantastic as always, you know, hit 1-4 in this game. In the second half he was actually quite poor, to be honest. You know, towards the end of the game he missed a lot of chances when he should have scored. You know, missed that free in injury time as well, you know, which would have won the game for Monaghan. But in the first half he was fantastic, and, you know, a fantastic point on the 14th minute in particular from about 30 to 40 metres. Cavan at times were poor on their own kickouts, I felt, in the first half. You know, Monaghan did push up quite a lot on the Cavan goalkeeper Raymond Gallagher, and obviously there's a huge difference between Raymond Gallagher and Rory Beggan in terms of kickouts, but I think we see that Raymond Gallagher certainly can kick a ball. You know, we've seen that of course in extra time with that free, absolutely outstanding. But all in all, you know, Raymond Gallagher was probably my man of the match, you know, making those 2 fantastic saves, as I said before, from McAnespie and the other of course from Carl O'Connell as well. Monaghan, for me, a little poor defensively at times. Stephen Smith with a great point on the 18th minute, and they did leave a lot of spaces in behind at times for Cavan to exploit. Particularly towards the end of the first half, though, I think Monaghan did shore up their defence a little bit more, and it was looking more and more likely that Monaghan were just going to see this game out. And yeah, Cavan had 60% possession in the first half compared to 40, but Monaghan were hitting Cavan on the break time and time again. And Cavan, for me, defensively, very poor. Their marking was very poor. They were losing their men. The likes of Conor McCarthy peeling away from his man, cracking the bar at one stage towards the end of the first half. And this game could have been all dead and buried if Conor McCarthy had scored that chance. Obviously, that was before the Conor McManus goal. But, if both of those goals went in, you're talking about an 11-point game at half time. So yeah, and look, listen, obviously going into the second half, it was quite an incredible second half, really. Monaghan, for me, were in control of the game. They were keeping possession, but you have to really question Banty McEnany and their tactics in the second half, because what they were looking to do was simply keep the ball. They didn't want to attack. They wanted to draw Cavan out and then hit them on the break and hit them with pace and attack with the likes of McManus, McCarthy, Darren Hughes in midfield. But it just wasn't working. They weren't able to break in behind Cavan, and the longer the game went on, the more Cavan were able to get more and more into it. And obviously Cavan playing with the breeze in the second half made a massive difference. And Thomas Galligan, who came on in the second half, vital for Cavan, made a huge difference, was given man of the match on Sky. Oisin Kiernan kicked a great point in the second half as well. And he was fantastic. And even with Oisin Pearson going off injured, they were still able to find that extra level that I didn't think they were going to be able to. Oisin Pearson was probably their best player on the pitch up until then. For me, Cavan a lot better defensively in the second half as well. They were more man-to-man in the second half, I found, compared to the first half, and I think that limited Monaghan a lot in the attack, and in particular in midfield they were outstanding. And obviously Thomas Galligan was quite a large part of that. And Cavan just found the momentum. Chris Conroy was able to kick a fantastic point. Luke Fortune hit 2 great scores as well. Very bright player indeed for Cavan. And for Monaghan, their last point in normal time in the game was in the 48th minute. Conor McManus with some really poor points, or with some really poor shots late on in the first half. And yeah, in the end, Monaghan just completely threw this game away. They completely bottled it. There's absolutely no doubt about it. The game was there to be won. And once again, for me, you have to question the mentality a little bit of this Monaghan team. Not necessarily in terms of ability. I think everyone knows they are a very, very good team on their day. But last year, beaten by Cavan and then beaten by Armagh in the qualifiers. The year before, beaten by Fermanagh in Ulster, and now beaten by Cavan, a Cavan team that, with all due respect, are in Division 3 and certainly do not have the quality that they had last year. No Keane Mackey, no Darragh McVeety. And yeah, as extra time went on, Monaghan just seemed to lose their will. Christopher McGuinness was sent off. I didn't see that incident, so that will be an interesting one. I'll definitely have to see what happens there. And even with Colin Walsh and Andrew Woods kicking 2 fantastic points in extra time for Monaghan, Cavan were able to get back into it again. And Thomas Galligan, brilliant as always, picking out the pass for Martin Riley, who made it inside the square and he was able to fist it into the back of the net. And from there, Cavan were in control. Cavan had the game. Chris Conroy with a late point from a 45. And obviously it was touch and go in the final minutes. Rory Beggan hit it, free, of course. Very nice point. And then, of course, it was over to Raymond Galligan. The referee could have blown it up after the point from Rory Beggan. There's absolutely no doubt about it. But at the same time, there was 2 there was 2 situations in this game where Cavan should have had 45s and they weren't given. And also the referee blew up the game in normal time at 4.5 minutes. There was still 30 to 40 seconds played. So you can look at it both ways, in my opinion. In the end, Raymond Galligan gets the free, or takes the free, of course, and Cavan progress into the next round of the Ulster Senior Football Championship. And quite incredible stuff indeed. something nobody was expecting. I don't think anyone had Cavan winning this game. So yeah, look, listen lads, do let me know down in the comments below what you thought of this. I certainly didn't see this coming myself. I thought Monaghan would have enough to win this. There's always a blip in Monaghan, but I thought they would have learned from last year and the year before, and I thought with a new manager there won't be that complacency there. But once again, it's crept in, and yeah, it's interesting to know what's gone wrong with Monaghan. Any Monaghan fans watching, do let me know what you think went wrong in this game. And yeah, huge opportunity now for Cavan to reach an Ulster final for a second year in a row. I'm sure Down and Fermanagh, they'll be licking their lips as well. They know there's a massive chance for either one of them to potentially get to an Ulster final. But I think Cavan are the team for me now that you'd have to feel could reach that Ulster final without doubt on that side of the draw. But anyway, my name is Aaron. Do let me know down in the comments below what you thought of the game. As always, there'll be more match reactions to follow, the Dublin-Kilkenny game and the Galway-Wexford game. So yeah, do enjoy, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already. My name is Aaron, and I'll catch you in the next one.